Hey, Discovery! With Shark Week coming up, let's come up with a new competition to top last year's. Let's see that athlete Phelps go swim in a race against this shark. Personally, my money's on the shark. He won't cheat. And if the human does, well, chomp chomp! You up for it, Gnaw? Roar. Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and today as we get ready for Shark Week to appear, I thought it's about time we take a look at one of the more famous sharks from the Transformer toy line. We've got here the Sharkticon Gnaw. Gnaw is an assault sentry. He was first released in 1986 to coincide with the release of Transformers the movie. He would also be available for limited numbers in 1987. He'd be discontinued by 1988, and we would not get a replacement for him. Gnaw, of course, is a Sharkticon. He's a unique Sharkticon in the fact that he has a name, whereas we're led to assume that none of the others had any sort of a name attached to them. This is probably due to the fact that Hasbro was hesitant to give generic troops into the Transformers toy line, so they just gave a name to this one, so that way it would be a unique Sharkticon instead of a generic one. I think the line would have benefited more had they left him as a generic Sharkticon. The Sharkticons were a pretty popular addition thanks to their appearance in the Transformers movie. And this one they're claiming is wholly sided to the Decepticon side instead of being allied to the Quintessons as they were in the movie. But of course, as we also saw in the movie, the loyalty of the Sharkticons can easily be bought, either by food in the case of the Quintessons, or showing off their own superiority, as Grimlock clearly demonstrated, and turned the Sharkticons against their cruel masters. Anyway, let's take a look here at Gnaw. And we'll take a look at his articulation. Unfortunately, he's a step backward when it concerns many of them, as all of his articulation is in the arms. He can bring his arms back about so far, and they go down about so far because they bump into this piece that holds the shark arms. But he can rotate his arms at the wrist all the way around, so you do get a few decent hand poses out of him, but you're not going to get a whole lot due to these limitations. Okay, to transform Gnaw, again, like normal, we have to remove his accessories. Alright, transform Gnaw. Don't get ahead of me here, buddy. We'll start here with his feet. We're going to fold his feet down, like so. And then we'll grasp him and push his legs into his body as far as they will go. The next here, we're going to grab his arms at the shoulders and slide them down, all the way down to the lower part of his body. Then we're going to push the fists into his hand, into the arm rather, and then fold these blue stands out to the side. Of course, we'll rotate them around so we don't have to see that peg. Do the same thing here on the other side. Then next, we fold down these panels that have the shark arms on them. Lower the top portion of the head down over the robot's head and close up the mouth. And as a final detail, we'll attach the tail into his backside. And there you have it, folks. A Sharkticon. Now, granted, this doesn't exactly look like the most buoyant design possible, but it does accurately resemble how the creatures looked in the animated movie. Of course, he also does have a fair amount of articulation here in his Sharkticon mode, as you can adjust him there at the hip for a small variety of poses. His little shark arms do rotate. They go almost all the way around, bumping into the leg. Of course, if you can ignore the fact that the robot's head is inside the mouth, you can open up the jaw, the lower jaw, kind of make it look like he's getting ready to eat something. Get him up close to the camera so you can take a good look at his ugly mug as he does that. Chomp, chomp, chomp. And of course you got nice rows of chrome teeth. It's almost a scary thought, isn't it? Maybe Universal should take a look at this mug and consider that if they ever want to do another Jaws movie. And of course, with the way that tail is put in, you can adjust and rotate the tail any sort of way you want the tail to be in there. So, you're really only limited by your own imagination and his own limitations. Alright, let's take a look at Gnaw's loose parts. We'll start with his gun. The instructions label this as a maceration laser. Yeah, it's not bad as far as Transformer guns go. I mean, I'm a little concerned by the fact that it has an ammunition magazine hanging from it. That's to imply that a Sharkticon is smart enough to change the ammunition in his gun. And they don't really strike me as being all that intelligent. And then, of course, famously, we do have his tail, which also doubles as a mace. As we famously saw in the movie, Cup used against a few of them. And contrary to belief, no, this will not fit in Cup's hands. So you can't reenact that bit. This is solid plastic, and it does not bend at all, so always keep an eye out on loose samples for any stress wear, especially along this part here, where somebody's gotten a little too abusive with it. Now, the Transformer Toy Guide by Mark Bellomo also implies that the arms on Gnaw can be removed as well. I'm not going to do that on this sample, because this is a loaner sample, and I'm pretty sure the owner will kill me if I do try, so I'm not going to, but it is worth pointing out that apparently they can be removed with relative ease, so do be careful with that when buying a loose sample of Gnaw. Moving right along, we'll take a look here at our instruction manual for Gnaw, and while it does show him as a Decepticon, it lists him down here, instead of as Evil Decepticon, it lists him as Sharkticon. And then we start going through things. And you see they leave the tail in as they start to transform him. when usually it's easier to just go ahead and remove those pieces. Of course, they wait until the third step here to take the tail out. Somebody was obviously not on their A game when they designed this set. Yeah, apparently they say his arms really should be downward facing, but I don't think that really matters. And of course, there's all the stickers to apply on him. He had quite a few. And then, of course, how to read the rub sign, collect your robot points, and how to read your tech spec decoder, how to read your tech specs. All good stuff. Yeah, let's take their advice, and if we fold him down flush against his body, you don't see him. See? Got him down flush against his body. Well, that does look a little bit better. It makes him more accurate looking to how he was in the cartoon. So when the Sharkticons all became robots, you did not see the arms for them. So, yeah, that's a little bit better. But if you prefer yours with the arms out where it can be seen, hey, more power to you. It's yours. Do with him as you feel. Anyway, moving right along, we got the tech spec right here. It's done in purple to put him as a Decepticon. It lists him as a Sharkticon. It gives his name as Gnaw, and his function is Assault Sentry. His motto is, I live for the taste of an Autobot's fuel line. Travels in packs with fellow Sharkticons. Fearless and vicious. Loyal only to the master who last fed him. Powerful tail fin allows him to travel at speeds over 150 knots. Carnivorous with a voracious appetite. Possesses several rows of razor-sharp teeth that can tear through solid steel. In robot mode, carries a maceration laser that shoots salt-based corrosive liquid. Also carries a barbed mace. Rather interesting little details. But now let's put the decoder on and take a look at how he fares up. It gives his strength as 7, his intelligence is 3, his speed is 4, his endurance is 8, his rank is 2, his courage is 8, his firepower and skill are both at 5, so he's basically got only a few things going for him. But in the long run, you'd be better off finding somebody better for the job. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Gnaw? Gnaw as a character is kind of bland. If they had left him as just as a simple Sharkticon, he'd have probably been better off that way. Certainly more of the fans would have been willing to flock to buying Sharkticons, simply because of the fact that it was a generic troop. Gnaw made no real appearances in a lot of the media, but the modern comics have used him, as the More Than Meets the Eye guide suggests that after the great shutdown on Cybertron, somehow Gnaw managed to have been found there and was befriended by Wheelie. And because Wheelie managed to feed him, Gnaw is loyal to Wheelie. How sad. But at any rate, we're not here to talk about Wheelie. Get out of there. We're here to talk about Gnaw. And overall, Gnaw is not bad. I mean, we're judging it based on the fact that he's a unique Sharkticon, and not the fact that he could have been a generic Sharkticon. If they had left him as a generic Sharkticon, this toy would have definitely been top tier, just for that reason alone. But Gnaw here only just barely fails to make it into the top tier, as the background info we're given for him really doesn't give us a lot to separate him from a standard Sharkticon. And that's where the problem comes in with it. There was none shown in the Transformer movie that seemed to show that they were smarter or better in any sense of the words that went with it. The Quintessons apparently keep the Sharkticons to be the dumb troops and use the Alleycons, as they become known as the more intelligent troops. And the Sharkticons are just basically the disposable cannon fodder. And so, unfortunately, the tech spec seems to reflect that more than anything else. So it makes it hard to judge Gnaw's abilities here, when the fact that there really isn't anything to separate him or differentiate him from any other Sharkticon. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to put him in the middle tier. Just barely, though. He just barely makes hitting the top tier due to the fact that they really didn't do anything to differentiate Gnaw from any other Sharkticon. So, he doesn't really deserve the top tier standing by himself, since he isn't any different. So, middle tier, folks. And that concludes my review of the Generation 1 Sharkticon Assault Sentry Gnaw. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up here on YouTube. Also, don't forget, hit that subscribe button down below to join up in our ranks. And also, please consider sharing your thoughts of Gnaw or the Sharkticons in general in the comments section down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.